Hey guys, Nate here. Today I want to talk really quickly about the only apps that you need in your Shopify store, at least the only apps that I think that you need. Too often I see entrepreneurs starting up their Shopify store and they're, let's download every single app in the Shopify store that we can. There's so many cool features here. Let's get them all in our store. It ends up just screwing a lot of stuff up and it's not worth it. It's expensive. It doesn't make any sense, and I will explain all of that. But these are really the only Shopify apps that I think that you actually need inside of your store. The first one that I always like to recommend, and I think that everyone kind of generally gets this, but it's important to have reviews on your product. That can make a very big difference. So the review app that I use is called Loox Reviews, Loox. All of these are listed down in the description, but just so you know, this one is called Loox Reviews. I love this app because it's very easy. It's adaptable to each product. You can set a certain time that it sends out emails asking for reviews from people. You can display reviews anywhere on your site for people that are on your site. The thing that I love most about this app is that it's focusing on image or photo reviews. It's not just asking for them to type in something and send that in. No, it's asking them specifically for photos, and then it can give discounts based upon photos and whatnot. Every time I submit a review, you can offer them a discount because they submitted that review. Why this is so important is because we're visual creatures, right? It's a lot easier to see something than it is to read something. So if someone's coming to your site with a prior objection, well, it's a lot easier to change their buyer intent if they see some photos of some prior customers using it and having a good experience with it. Video reviews are also killer because they crush, because again, it's hitting on that emotional tie, and typically objections are most of the time emotional, right? And so for them to come in and for them to see photo reviews, well, it makes a huge difference. You can still send in text reviews with Loox, but I find that it's very encouraging on the side of image reviews, and so that's why I love this app a lot. It's a very simple app, and you get a 14-day free trial, and then after that, it's only $9.99 a month. It is structured then to go higher based upon the amount of reviews that it has to send out and the emails it has to send out every single month. So the more customers you get, the more expensive it gets. But again, it's all worth it in the end, so I promise you this is a good app. The next app that I would highly recommend is called Image Optimizer. That is what it's called. Do not get this confused with a page speed optimizer. No, this is an image optimizer. I have yet to find a good page speed optimizer that actually makes sense to use. I think they just cause more conundrum than they actually do. I think there's web devs that can do a way better job of optimizing a website than an app inside of Shopify. Now, the image optimizer is essentially going to just compress those images. It's going to decrease the memory on your page, therefore making your page load quicker. And that's good for us because the quicker that your page loads, the more likely you are to get someone to convert. And the better you look in the eyes of pretty much every social platform that you are marketing on. So it's really important to have a good page. The images are still going to stay, high quality. It's just going to be compressed a little bit, so it decreases that memory. This is a free app, so I don't know why you wouldn't do it. Again, that one is called Image Optimizer, not any sort of page optimizer. Image Optimizer. The next one I would recommend is called Shipstation. I think it's just, why wouldn't you have a shipping app inside your store? Have you ever tried to actually go through and print off all of those orders inside of Shopify? Super annoying. Use a shipping app. It's dramatically easier. If you're getting those big 50+ day orders, a shipping app is going to dramatically cut that time that it takes to actually print off those packing slips or those orders to be able to visualize where those orders are. Imports all your orders from Shopify, and you can add in things like an employee account to be able to have your manufacturer. If you just want to have them log in, print off those orders and change orders and whatnot, you can do that as well. It's very easy to customize things in there, to add in custom orders and stuff like that if somebody needs to change something. It's very simple. The UI UX is reasonably good on it. So that is an app we use for a lot of stores, and it's an app I would very clearly recommend. We are testing a new app called Shippo. I've seen that one kind of growing over the past couple of months. I like the UI UX on Shippo, but I haven't run enough orders through it and put enough time into it to actually say this is a very highly recommended app. But these are the two that I would generally recommend, but Shipstation is the one that I use the most. It's easy to connect your carrier in, if you're shipping through UPS or USPS or FedEx, whatever. It's really, really easy just to bring all of that in. You get a 30-day free trial, so you can go in and try it out. Why not? Then it starts out at just $9 a month. And then it can change based upon how many accounts you have on there and whatnot. There's a bunch of different things you can do, but it's really easy to connect everything inside of Shipstation and just have those orders go through there. The next app I would recommend is probably an app that not a lot of people have heard of. It's called DeepMine. This is an app that actually makes you more like a business, honestly, at the end of the day. Because again, everyone gets this Shopify store. They start running Facebook ads, but that's all they do. They look at your ad spend and you look at your revenue that you're getting at the end of the day. But what DeepMine actually does is DeepMine allows you to actually visualize the profitability inside of your store. It's kind of a glorified spreadsheet, but it's very easy to pull in your orders, show the cost of those orders, and then be able to import ad spend to be able to see what your actual profitability is. Revenue is very misleading. Profitability is what actually matters at the end of the day. Revenue is not the key. You want to know the health of your business, you need to know your profitability. And so using something like DeepMine we use it for a lot of things. And you have to deal with things like vendors and stuff. I would definitely recommend using something like DeepMine. That's the one that we use because, again, just visualizing that profitability can be really important. And the more you can kind of put under one roof, just in the Shopify store, instead of having to go a bunch of different places, increases that process. It takes that time down and it just makes you more efficient in the things that you're doing. So DeepMine is what I would recommend for that. You get a 60-day free trial. Why wouldn't you use it? And then it starts at just $10 a month. Very inexpensive. The last one that I would recommend is just an email software. Most email providers like Klaviyo and ActiveCampaign have apps inside of the Shopify store. And so why wouldn't you just have your email automatically connect up there? We use Klaviyo the majority of time for any clients or anything that we're doing. We use Klaviyo because the easiest way to convert another customer and the most inexpensive way is just by sending them an email. If they've already bought something from you and they like what you did, well, then send them an email. It's as simple as that. Too many people are not utilizing email marketing. It's so important. Any client that we take on, we always have either one platform, whether that be Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or whatever, and email. We always put those two together. Super important to do that. And again, for most email providers, you're going to find an app inside the Shopify store, or you can connect that app some way. We use Klaviyo. So important just to send out those emails, and those costs are really only tied with Klaviyo. Those are the only apps I would recommend. I know it's like, Nate, that's only like three to four things or 5 things. That's really not that many apps. Here's the things about apps inside your Shopify store. Too many apps create links and connectability and code on your website, right? So the more apps that you have on your site, it typically is not going to make the biggest difference. In fact, it's going to make your site worse because you're going to make your site slower. There's more chances of things breaking down, of code breaking, of links not working, and it can just overload the page. There is no reason to have more than 5 to 8 apps on your store. Depending on what it is, there's certain things like that email software one, right? That does not really install any code on your store. It's not really going to hurt it that much, right? So it really just kind of depends on what that app is and what you're kind of looking for. But any apps that actually do things to your store and do things to your site, like I said, I found that page speed boosters, they typically make your site go slower. But any of those other apps, I wouldn't recommend them. Keep it simple. The apps are not going to be the make or break of your store of whether stuff sells on your store or not. And so keep it simple. Keep the only apps that you need, because again, and it adds up in cost as well. So if you can do all these free trials if you want, but if you have 30 apps in your store, eventually that's going to add up in cost. And so keep it simple. Keep your store safe from all that code over bloating your store, causing really high load speeds and ruining your store. Keep it simple and use the only apps that you need. If you have any other app recommendations, make sure that you comment them down below. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you found value in it, and if you just love Shopify and you're so happy that I made this list, please make sure that you subscribe and like down below. It helps me with the almighty YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much. Until next time.